بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد ومحمد. So we were discussing this subject, that are we allowed to ask the people of book, the previous people, the previous communities, about our own religion, about our own doctrine? This question has been answered by some of the authors. One of them is Bukhari. Bukhari has a special chapter in his Sahih al-Bukhari. لا تسألوا أهل الكتاب. لا تسألوا أهل الكتاب عن شيء. Do not ask the people of book about anything. But yet, we find people are asking, people are approaching them, people are reading their books, people are inquiring about them, despite this ban, despite the warning of the Prophet. A warning. Don't go and ask them. And when Umar came, was happy, he found some papers, and he came to the Prophet and he was reading them to the Prophet. The Prophet said to him, Umar, what are you doing? I am here. If Musa is here, he will come and ask me. If they're a prophet, alaykum assalam, if Musa is here, ما وسعه إلا أن he had no choice but to come and ask me, why do you bring these papers? But unfortunately, some people had the habit of going and asking them, despite having credible Sahabas, Imam Ali, Abdullah ibn Abbas, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. Those are the closest people to the Prophet in their midst, but they would not go and ask them. For some reasons, some of it is political reasons. They don't ask the sources of knowledge, they ask the people of book. And Ibn Abbas says, Abdullah ibn Abbas, if you want to write his name, Abdullah ibn Abbas, the first cousin of the Prophet and one of the greatest companions, Abdullah ibn Abbas. He would chide those who ask the people of book. He chides them by telling them, كيف تسألون أهل الكتاب عن شيء? How do you dare going and asking the people of book, their scholars, about your religion? وَكِتَابُكُمْ الَّذِي أُنزِلَ عَلَى رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أَحْدَث. Your book, the Holy Quran that has descended upon the Prophet, is more contemporary. This is a fresh. أحدث. أحدث means جديد, means new. تَقْرَؤُونَهُ مَحْضًا لَمْ يُشَبْ. Still, the Quran is not invalid, is not invalidated, is not obsolete. It's among you. Why don't you go and read your book? وَقَدْ حَدَّثَكُمْ أَنَّ أَهْلَ الْكِتَابِ. In your book, the holy book, your Quran, is telling you that the people of book بَدَّلُوا كِتَابَ اللَّهِ وَغَيَّرُوهُ وَكَتَبُوا بِأَيْدِيهِمُ الْكِتَابِ. They changed their own books. They tampered with their own books. So how do you dare go and ask them? And then he says, وَاللَّهِ مَا رَأَيْنَا رَجُلًا قَطْ مِنْهُمْ. I haven't seen, Abdullah ibn Abbas says, I haven't seen someone from the Jewish Christian community comes and asks us about their religion. So why do you go and ask them about your own religion? Ibn Khaldun, who's Ibn Khaldun, my friends? Abdul Rahman Ibn Khaldun. He died almost 600 years ago. He was Tunisian, born in Tunisia and died in Cairo, in Egypt. He was a philosopher, he was historian, he was sociologist, and his book is called Muqaddamat Ibn Khaldun. His book of history is called Muqaddamat Ibn Khaldun. Muqaddama means introduction. Very valuable book. He writes in his book, he says the tafsir of the Quran, which is naqli, not aqli. The tafsir, we studied the naqli. The tafsir, naqli means what, my friends? Yeah, based on texts, based on narrations and text. This type, unfortunately, has been tampered with. Why? يشتمل على الغث والسمين. This type of tafsir has some good parts and bad ones. والمقبول والمردود, the one that is accepted and the one that is rejected. Why? Because some of the Muslims, they don't have knowledge. They are not educated. They go to the Jewish community who was also nomadic in the desert. They didn't also have knowledge like the Arabs, like the Muslims. And they will go and ask them questions. And of course, someone, when he doesn't have knowledge, he's going to give you his own analysis, his own understanding, because it is not referenced. I am now reading, this is a reference. But when I don't have the book, imagine I don't have books. I have to invent something. And these inventions, most of them are what? Fictions, not rights. Superstitions, fictions. Myths, asatir. Okay? So he says, unfortunately, وَأَهْلُ التَّوْرَاةِ الَّذِينَ بَيْنَ الْعَرَبِ, the followers of the Torah who were Arabs, they were badiyatun. Badiya is what? Badiya? Desert. They lived in the Badiya and the desert. Okay, desert people. Most of them are from the tribe of Himyar. Himyar, the Jewish Arab in Arabia, were from the tribe of Himyar. So they go and ask them. And those who are asked them, unfortunately, their names we will mention: Abdullah ibn Salam, Ka'b al-Ahbar, Wahab ibn Munabbih. We will come and read something about them. They will gather these news and put them in the books, and they say this is part of the tafsir. This is why in the tafsir, books of tafsir, how many we have? How many we have altogether? Altogether, how many tafsirs we have? Hundreds, yani, give me a number. Both Shias and Sunnis, how many tafsirs we have? From the beginning until now. $2,500 tafsirs. Many of them, they need to be filtered, because there are things in these books of tafsir that does not make sense and are baseless. Why? Because they come from baseless stories that are taken from the mouths of people who are neither educated nor connected to a credible source. They invent them. This is what some of these stories are really funny. You read in some of them, we're going to read many, but just to give you an example, quick example. The earth is standing on what? This earth. This is the tafsir. Standing on what? Horn of a bull. So be careful, Don't jump, Tell your kids at home, if they jump here or there, it's going to tilt, and then khalas, qiyamah begins. This is what they say. This comes from Israelites. Stories that they had, mythologies, these myths from the Romans, from the Greek, from this, from that, So someone who touches, they have mythologies. There's someone, if he touches anything, it turns into what? Gold. It doesn't have any, but people believe in that. Even today, believe me, some people go, even American people, they go to where? Those fortune tellers? What else they call them? They have special shops here in America. I've seen it. Huh? Yeah. They give money. They give money. They give a lot of money. And they listen to this nonsense. So this thing used to be, during the time of the Muslims, early Muslims, even now, everywhere. Some people are really naive. The other day I was talking to someone who's a graduate of a prestigious university here. He tells me something. I was shocked. He tells me that there is a lady, you just tell her the name of someone. Someone lives in Australia and Europe and Africa and India. She gives you the exact description of that person. Of course, I don't believe in this story. I don't believe in this story. He says, no, Sayyid. People that because her husband married a second wife, and without seeing the second wife, she gave her description. Subhanallah.
He talks in his sleep.
Huh?
He talks in his sleep.
Definitely he talks in his sleep, and she cannot sleep because her husband hurt her. She has sleepless nights, so she writes down everything. In the morning she tells him, listen, I know your second wife, this is her hair, this is her eyes, this is what. Of course, I told him, listen, I'm sorry for that university who gave you the certificate. He got a bachelor degree from prestigious university. So even now, some people are rich, educated, they go to good university, they live in the West, and still they believe in these myths. That someone he knows, he can tell you, and everything. You know why I say this? Because I'm afflicted with those people. They come to me to verify. Wallahi, they come here, and they are convinced that this person is true. When I tell them I'm sitting there, I say, no, I don't believe it. He says, Sayyid, how can you? Because we have evidence, we have what? I said, no, don't bring me evidence, no witnesses. Because it does not make sense. God has given us aql, reason. Anything does not make sense, I don't even accept evidence. Because the evidence is nothing. Aql, use your aql. But they prey on those victims, people who are naive, people who really are in bad situations, they want some relief, they want some answers. And they take advantage. Some of them, they do astrologists, what they call them. They tell them, for instance, in this month you're going to die, in this month this happens to you, you get married here, you get divorced, your wife is stealing. And they sow the seeds of tension between a husband and wife, between a father and his children, between two friends. People take them serious. So this was the case, unfortunately. The tafsir got mixed between what is right and what is wrong. So tafsir requires filtration.
Actually, Maulana, there is a good number of hadith from Amir al-Mu'mineen and Imam Saleh. They forbid going to these.
Of course. كذب المنجمون ولو صدقوا. The hadith says they are liars even if they tell you the truth. Because maybe once or twice they say it, accidentally they say something correct, but at the end they are liars. Now, but unfortunately some people, they had the habit. Some people are intrinsically naive. You can't do anything about it. Some people are intrinsically intelligent. Some people are intrinsically naive. And I've seen even in our communities that if, let's say, they invite a scholar, khatib, if he speaks about superstitions, they love him. Believe me. They gather under his member, they listen to him. Oh, wow. But if he wants to speak something relevant, something makes sense, he doesn't have buyers. They don't invite him next year, believe me. unless he speaks about mu'jizat, about miracles, something that is Superman. He has to turn Ahlul Bayt into Superman. If he doesn't turn them into Superman, he didn't do a good job. This is a business. And therefore, sometimes the speakers are good, but he says, if I don't say this, they are not going to invite me. So I am forced, unfortunately, I am forced to fabricate. Say this and this and this and that. About this imam, about this scholar, about this alim, about this family, about this. La ilaha illallah. However, they say that Abdullah ibn Umar, the son of the second caliph, Abdullah ibn Umar ibn al-Khattab. There was a battle of Yarmouk, Al-Yarmouk, a battle of Al-Yarmouk, which took place in Iraq. He found Zamilatain. Zamila. What does Zamila mean? Zamila, a bundle of books. A bundle of books. So he found two bundles of books that are related to Bani Israel. It's a Jewish heritage. Hebrew literature. They're old books. And then he brought them with him to Medina, and he started reading from them. What does these two bundles have? It has a collection of everything. You know, the Arabs, when they write a book that has everything, they call it kashkul. Have you heard kashkul? Have you heard this term, kashkul? Kashkul. Kashkul. Kashkul means what? Kashkul is Arabic and Farsi. They use it both. Kashkul is you put in this book everything. Sometimes they are not related to each other. For instance, you speak about Jupiter, and then from Jupiter you go to baseball. There is no relationship between them.
It's like a journal?
Journal that gathers everything that comes to his mind, everything he sees, everything he reads, everything he analyzes, everything he sees in his dream. Okay, he sees something in his dream, tomorrow he writes it, he puts it in this kashkul, and then this kashkul, of course, some of it is true, some of it is false, not true. So this Zamila that he found, it was kashkul, meaning that it could be right, some of them right, some of them not. But he will treat them as what? As credible source, authentic source. And at that time there was no coffee shops, no internet cafes. So where do people gather? In the mosque. This is the problem. He comes in the mosque, he has book, and book is like when you bring something special, something new into a community, all people, they gather, they want to see what is this, and then he starts reading from this.
He did personally?
Huh?
He read personally?
No, he found it in the Battle of Yarmouk.
Right. No, I mean, I'm sorry,
Yeah, he would read it, yeah, of course, because he found it. Imagine you go into this Pacific Ocean and you find a wrecked ship, okay, abandoned ship, let's say, old one, 50 years old, 100 years old, 200 years old, still floating. You go there and you find books, papers. Definitely these papers are valuable, even if it doesn't have any scientific value, but merely by being 200 years old, you take care of them. And then you start reading, you start, treating them with respect. Anything old today, if you dig in your backyard and you find a book buried and you pull it out, and this book, they tell you 500, let's say you find a date, 1522 AD, 500 years old. So definitely this is something valuable. So you need to keep it, or sometimes you sell it. Okay? Sometimes you sell it. So he would read from these books and he would treat these sources because it is ancient, because it is religious and ancient and comes from previous communities, he would treat them as a sort of knowledge. But not everything ancient means correct. Some of ancient things are not correct. Because God says to the Prophet, نَحْنُ نَقُصُّ عَلَيْكَ نَبَأَهُمْ بِالْحَقِّ. God says, listen to my story, my version. I tell you the right version of the story. What does that mean? It means other versions are not right. نَحْنُ نَقُصُّ عَلَيْكَ نَبَأَهُمْ. Like Ashabul Kahf, the people of the companions of the cave, there were many myths around them, many superstitions. God said to the Prophet, listen to my version. If you are searching for the correct one, listen to mine. نحن نقص عليك نبأهم بالحق إنهم فتية آمنوا بربهم وزدناهم هدى. So this tells you that even 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, there were myths. Not everything which is ancient means correct. Sometimes something ancient is wrong, something written today is right.
So the books were in Arabic?
No, in Hebrew. In Hebrew. In Hebrew.
So Abdullah knew Hebrew? Abdullah knew Hebrew?
Some of them. Because Hebrew was a spoken language. It's like Spanish in California today. There were other languages, not just Arabic. Arabic was only in Mecca, but Medina was cosmopolitan. There were Jews, there were Christians, there were non-Arabs, other languages. Kufa also. These cities were metropolitans, where different nationalities and languages lived there. So some of them learned the other language. Yeah? So, now, some historians, theologians, they say it's okay to ask them. Because the Quran is telling you go and ask. Where is in the Quran? Listen to this verse. Quran says, فَإِن كُنْتَ فِي شَكٍّ مِّمَّا أَنزَلْنَا إِلَيْكَ. O Prophet Muhammad, if you have doubt in what we have sent upon you, فَاسْأَلِ الَّذِينَ يَقْرَؤُونَ الْكِتَابَ مِنْ قَبْلِكَ. Go to the people of book who came before you and ask them. فَاسْأَلِ الَّذِينَ يَقْرؤُونَ الْكِتَابَ مِنْ قَبْلِكَ. لَقَدْ verily لَقَدْ جَاءَكَ الْحَقُّ مِنْ رَبِّكَ فَلَا تَكُونَنَّ مِنَ الْمُمْتَرِينَ. The truth is from your Lord, so you should not have doubt. Do not be one of those mumtareen, doubters. So God says to the Prophet, go and ask them. So what do we do here? Where is the answer? Yalla Hamid, help me.
Well,
I'm losing my voice.
It's a topic to ask. It's a topic to ask. If it is the verity and or veracity of the prophethood, yes, sure, go ask it. If it is, you want to go ask, I don't know, about Hajj, no, don't ask. About
Exactly.
Ashab
This is a
al-Kahf,
point.
Don't ask.
This is a point. Don't ask them about zakat, prayers, hajj, your religion. But if you want to ask them whether Prophet Muhammad is mentioned in your books or not, go and ask them. This is point number one. Point number two, is God asking the Prophet himself, or through the Prophet he's asking the doubters in the community? Which one? Huh? The latter, definitely. Because the Prophet cannot have doubt. If he has doubt, then he's not a prophet. He's not a prophet. God is speaking to the people in the community of the Prophet. Some of them were hypocrites. Some of them were not hypocrites, but they had doubts. They had doubts. God is talking to them through the Prophet. He's not talking to the Prophet. God is talking, addressing those people through Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Or sometimes Quran says, فَاسْأَلْ بَنِي إِسْرَائِيل. Go and ask the children of Israel. He's telling the Muslims, go and ask them about your prophet. Your prophet is authentic because we sent his description in their books too. So if you have doubt that this is messenger or not, Go and ask the Jews. They say, yes, he's in our book. Mecca is named in our book. His description, the color of his eyes, the color of his hair, even bodily and physical description are mentioned in their books. Okay?
And also, it's always expressed in a bigger context, which is always have to be very analytical.
Uh-huh.
You have to think about
Mhm.
what people tell you and what you ask people.
Yes. Now, we believe as Muslims, does everything mentioned in the people of book in their literature is wrong? Or some of it is right, authentic? Some of it is authentic. Even the Quran, when he speaks about the Torah, he doesn't say the entire Torah from A to Z has been tampered with or changed or altered. No. Quran says part of it is authentic still. It kept its authenticity. The other part, same thing with the gospel. Some of the gospel is intact. Some of it has been tampered with. So when we say these books have been tampered with, we don't mean from A to Z. Portions of it. So therefore, the other portions which are true, God is asking the Muslims to check them out. Not the portions that has been changed, the portions that had been intact and not tampered with. So, in fact, here we reach a conclusion that going to the people of book to ask them about the details of your religion is not right, is banned. But going to them to check about what is in conformity with our book is okay. Because Quran always says, go and study the communities. Travel in this land, learn from others, learn from the Romans, from the Persians, from the Greek, from the Jews, from the people, the black, the white, other cultures. Go and learn from them. It will enrich your knowledge. It will broaden your horizon. It will increase and deepen your experience. But at the same time, you have to be careful. Go, watch, listen, but be careful. Don't believe everything. You have to filter it through your reason, through your aql. The Quran invites us to travel in the land, to examine other communities, to watch them, to see what they do. But does that mean Quran approves everything they do? No. Quran says go to the Buddhist temple, no problem. Go on and read about Buddhism. Go and read, no problem. See how it developed, how it emerged. Okay, how now they have different type of Buddhism. In Japan they have a type, in India they have another type, in China they have but it doesn't mean that they are authentic. But learn, no problem with learning. Learn how people worship God. Learn about other religions. But you have to have ihtiyat. Be careful. Even in Islam, my friends, we have this problem in Islam. God says, listen to scholars, but be careful, huh? Use your brain, don't be naive. الَّذِينَ يَسْتَمِعُونَ الْقَوْلِ. Listen, don't shut your ears. Never shut your ears. Don't do this. Don't say, I'm not going even to listen to what this guy is saying. Don't say this. This is ta'assub. This is a prejudice. Even if you think he's saying nonsense, listen. Give yourselves some time to listen, and then you either accept or reject. Not listening is one of the characters of what? The jahil. Someone who's really ignorant. He shuts the door. But allow yourself to listen. الَّذِينَ يَسْتَمِعُونَ الْقَوْلِ. But then they study it, they research it, فَيَتَّبِعُونَ أَحْسَنَهُ. They follow the best of it. Even in Islam we have this problem, let alone the people of book. Even in Islam, some people come to me, Sayyid, are we allowed to go to such and such mosque to listen to such and such a speaker? There are many speakers, many authors, many people who wrote books, many people who give lectures. Are we allowed to listen to them? If you have time, no problem, listen. But don't believe in everything. Be careful. Be careful. Don't come to me and say this is a solid evidence just because someone whose name is this mentioned it. No. We have to verify. Verification is very important. We have to verify. Just like the food. I've seen some mothers when they go to the supermarket. When I go to the supermarket, it takes me 5 minutes. I buy everything. My wife, it takes her 1 hour because she has to read the ingredients. You know, nothing is here, the gelatin, the whatever. You know, this is why I tell her, listen, when you send me somewhere, you need something, take a picture, send me the picture to save me time, because I'm not going to stand there and read, you know, I don't have time for that. Send me the picture, tell me, go and buy this. Why? Because they are worried about their food. They have to check the ingredients. Some of them not because halal or haram, because of weight. They don't want to put on weight, so they have to check, you know, how much calories it has. Same thing with knowledge. We have to check to see how much calories, you know. You don't study, you don't read anything and believe in everything. You can't do that. Be careful. So this is the stand. Should we or shouldn't? Neither we ask everything and we believe everything, nor we reject everything. We have to use intelligence. We have to use ihtiyat in asking them. What do you ask them? Do you ask them about how do I fast? No, they can't give you the answer. How do I do my hajj, my zakat, my divorce, my marriage? No. Yes, I ask them about, you know, stories of prophets. Let's see what is the difference between what the Quran is saying. Sometimes I mention her. I say this is a biblical story. This is a story of Lut, of Sulaiman, of Yaqub, of Yusuf. Also has, but these are the differences. The Quran says this, the Bible says that. So it's no problem in comparing what you have to what they have. And inshallah tomorrow we will read about maybe 3 or 4 or 5 of those masterminds of what? The Israelites. Those who invented the Israelites in the Islamic tradition. Until today we are paying the price of what those few people have, but it was a concerted effort. They infiltrated the Islamic tradition, they invented many things, they brought many things that unfortunately is found in our literature, and people still believe in them and advocate them and act upon them. وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين.